Greetings, magical mages and spiritual sages, all of you listening out there. Welcome to Age of the Mage, and we're on episode 33. Today I'd like to talk just a little bit about the idea of correspondences and how they work with magic and what they are, because I know many of you are very, very familiar with this idea of working with correspondences, and I know others might have never heard of it, because if it isn't in your particular realm of focus, it's quite specific maybe to the magical traditions, and you might not have heard of this, but it's something we can all take advantage of. It's based on I think a feeling we all agree on, basically, and that is that we're all connected, that things affect us from all around. Big things like what's in space, planetary actions, all the way down to small things like those things going on in our personal lives. But they all play a role. If there is truly this interconnected web, then it reacts. There's a tug over here and you feel it over there. It's kind of ripple effects, all those types of things, the butterfly effect. So we do believe in this quantum field, this energetic field, an etheric field. And when we do believe in those things, we come closer to we begin to sense that we are connected, don't we? And so I think for this audience, that's pretty close to a given. I think most of us agree that these invisible strands of energy do connect us, even when we can't see them, even when we're not feeling them, or when we're not cognizant of them, they do exist. And so that leads us into this idea of correspondences. Now, how these are used, it's really simpler than you might think of at the surface. There are elaborate charts that you can actually access for many different types of correspondences that come out of arcane literature and occult libraries and archives that over time magicians have written down and recorded what works for them and what highlights certain energies. And so it can be very elaborate to work with correspondences. But for today's podcast, we're going to talk about kind of a very simplified version of this. Some of the things you can naturally understand and anybody can understand and tap into. And it can give a little boost to whatever you're working on magically or spiritually, to be aware of these energies around you and how they might contribute to what you'd like to do. So we have things like the phases of the moon, and these are used very, very often in traditions. And the very basic outline is that if a moon is waxing, if that moon's energy is gaining and it's lighting up and it's becoming fuller, that those are good times to use your manifestation skills for things that you want to expand, things that you may want to conjure, things you may want to bring in your life, things you want to see grow. Very often farmers' almanacs will take advantage of waxing moon cycles to plant different kinds of things that they want to grow, and it can help the growth. I've even heard that if you cut your hair on a waxing moon, it regrows faster than if you cut your hair on a waning moon. So the energy of the moon, we know we have evidence of affecting Earth strongly. And you get this correspondence of the waxing energy with what you're trying to accomplish. So let's say you are trying to expand on something in your life. Then it makes sense to focus some visualization energy, affirmations, or even spell work, ritual work, anything that you work on in these realms during a waxing moon phase. Now, the opposite's true for a waning phase. So when when the moon is going down, we're seeing more dark than we are light, and it's going through the phase of waning. It's getting darker each night. And so when those times are here, that more naturally corresponds to things that we want to lessen in our lives. We want to get rid of things. We might want to cleanse things from ourselves or our energetic space or our environments. We might want to get rid of something altogether, a banishing, for example. These kind of energies, when the when the moon supports washing something out, washing it out to sea, then we can take advantage of that energy. And it's really strange, but it's almost like having a partner in your in your court there to work with. Someone's working with you. It's really the moon and the energy of the moon, but it backs up your desires in a way that supports more naturally what you're trying to accomplish if you take the time to just be aware of some of these correspondences, some of the easy ones, some of the natural ones that your body feels, whether you're aware of it or not. We're very sensitive to these things. And just this awareness, just working in a few of these correspondences can definitely help you with what you are trying to do. So for today's podcast, I wanted to focus a little bit on Pisces energy. So I'm releasing this podcast in March, and I know some of you will hear it in other months, and we'll work through each month as they come along, and we'll just discuss briefly some of the energies to grab a hold of and work with as these months go through our lives. So in the case of Pisces, we have the final sign of the zodiac. It's kind of a holistic sign. It tends to encompass all the prior signs that come before it. And Pisces, for this reason, is really full of opportunity and also very full of emotion, because the Pisces spirit is holding so much and is willing to hold so much. Very often they are called the old souls of the zodiac. They come in kindness and in sensitivity, generally speaking. There is quite naturally a bit of intuition in the Pisces person, and this emotional link to their surroundings is quite intense. You'll very often see empaths and people more introverted in the Pisces sun sign. So it depends, of course, on the entire chart. Everyone's an individual, and we're generalizing here. But we're generalizing in order to be aware of these general tendencies that occur with Pisces energy. Because let's say in the month of March, it would make some sense to grab hold of this correspondence and perhaps focus at least a couple of our rituals or a couple of our spells or a couple of our big manifestation blasts, to kind of use the natural energy of March. And this starts occurring around February 21st, 22nd, and it continues through March 21st, 22nd, right in that zone. We really have this Pisces influence. So it's a very good time to say, hey, I'd love to have more intuition, or I'd like to be more in tune with my intuition. I'm going to design some work in those areas, and I'm going to ask this beautiful Pisces energy to surround me during this whole 4-week period of time, and put this energy around me to enhance intuition, because after all, that's what Pisces is so good at. Perhaps you aren't sensitive enough. You could work with Pisces to bring your sensitivity up, bring your discernment up, meld your emotional reactions with wisdom during the age of Pisces, during the time that Pisces rules. Perhaps you are a Pisces and you're overly sensitive, and you'd really like to develop a little better boundaries and not have to take on everybody's emotions all the time. Work with that waning moon during the Pisces season and say, I love my sensitivities, I love my empath qualities, but I need to tone them down a notch. I need advice, I need inspiration on how I could do better shielding and filtering and balancing, and work with the waning moon, maybe to take down your sensitivities. Work with a waxing moon during the Pisces season to increase shielding, increase your boundaries, increase your thoughts about these things. And some of this doesn't even have to be formal ritual or formal, spell work or craft work. It can just be awareness. Your brain is so powerful, your thoughts are so powerful, and they link very quickly to your emotions. And then those emotions link very quickly to intentions. So just taking an afternoon to think about things, reading a book that provides information about these things, journaling a little bit, planning your calendar for your spiritual work or your magical work, that can have tremendous effect. And you can literally invite the energy of Pisces to join you. Invite intuition, invite psychic impressions to become a part of you more and more during the month of March. And let this gift that Pisces has to offer, let it in, allow it in, work with it. And this can be done all through the Pisces season. And you can even ask for inspiration that's individualized to you. We all have our own needs and we all have our own things we're trying to either alter or transform or manifest. And so it's different for each one of us. But there's a way that Pisces can come in and enhance some of these things you're already working on, especially if you allow Pisces to first enter your life with just extra sensitivity and inspiration, because it's such a natural connector to your higher self. The Pisces soul is very often connected to other realms just naturally. And so inviting that energy to be with you as soon as that Pisces month comes around is a marvelous thing to do. And then what can happen is you will receive the inspiration specifically tailored to your needs. Let's say you have two goals and they're really in your mind. And maybe one is I want to move up in my job. I'd like either a change of job, or I'd like a raise, or a higher position. And then the other thing maybe that is taking a lot of your energy is a relationship. Let's say you're just not sure about the person you've been seeing and you need more clarity. And let's say these two issues are kind of tugging at you. Pisces energy might be more helpful in one of those cases than in the other. Pisces might help you with sensitivity with the relationship more than it is going to jump in and help you with the money. Or if the money is tied into feelings, if it's tied into sensitivity, if it's tied into discernment about certain timing issues, then by all means, Pisces might be the very best energy you could invite in to help guide you on what you do next regarding this hope. And in the case of the relationship, it might not be as a big a component, depending on the aspects of the relationship that you'd really like to see come into focus. So this type of discernment is available to all of you. And it's very hard for someone else. No one else really has the ability or the right to tell you how to use this discernment. This is up to you. So we're just tossing out ideas here. And that's kind of what you want to do at the beginning of inviting any type of extra energy or extra correspondence into your magical routine, into a spiritual program you're working on. The first step, which many of us often neglect or forget, that first step is, hey, recognize the energy for what it is. What does it stand for? What are some of its general characteristics? And then say, hey, I invite you to be part of this with me. Please inspire me. Share your energy with me. Share what I need to gain from you as I move forward, and even design my spell or design my ritual or design my prayer or design my spiritual focus for the month. And we forget to do this, don't we? But it's there. These energies are so real in many, many ways. And there are, of course, beings associated with each energy. And there's just so much we can call on from these etheric fields that we forget are really there to support us. So this little reminder today is pointing out that we're in the middle of Pisces energy. And it's a great time to ask and allow the energy of Pisces to work with us. So read up a little on Pisces and let your own mind open up and receive the information. Well, two words at once. Receive the information and the inspiration that you need as you're reading. How can it help you the best? How would you like to design an affirmation or a visualization or a ritual or a spell that can take advantage of Pisces? And if possible, you can even work in a moon phase. So this is the principle that underlies correspondences, that we allow the natural fields of energy, the natural rhythms that are already underlying, that are already present, that we allow and invite these things in. And we coordinate what we're going to do with those natural rhythms so that we're not swimming upstream all the time. If you were going to do a clearing or cleansing type of ritual, it makes sense to do it when the moon is waning because you've got a very natural rhythm working with you and supporting that cleansing, right? So it's just a matter of giving yourself a boost and knowing that these energies are here to support you. And you can dive as deep as you want into correspondences because they go on and on, of course, days of the week, hours of the day, herbs, colors, all kinds of things. And we'll take some time to explore many of those too in upcoming podcasts. But for those of you that may not have been aware of this concept, I wanted to really introduce it to you today because it's accessible to everyone. Everyone, everywhere. Our surroundings are here to support us. Our etheric field is all about what we put into it and what we receive from it. And so when we believe that it is supportive, we can start lighting. We just light up that field. And darkness can leave that field. And we can start interacting with these fields in very positive and very supportive and beneficial ways. And one more reminder, don't be surprised if a person who has strong Pisces influences in their chart may come your way too. And they may be the one that offers information or inspiration to you. So when you invite Pisces in, you might even invite the person who embodies the Pisces energy to contribute to your life somehow this month. So this is my message today and my wish for all of us, that we can take advantage of the natural energy surrounding us and incorporate this into the things we are trying to accomplish on individual and collective levels. Thank you so much for taking this time with me today, and a very happy birthday to all those who are Pisces out there. And thank you for sharing your beloved and gentle energies with us. Thank you so very much. I will be back soon and say goodbye for now.